And this just into CNN after a surprisingly negative set of jobs numbers that we brought you at the top of the show was released this morning. President Donald Trump is now ordering the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, who was nominated by former President Joe Biden, to be fired. Kevin Liptak is at the White House. He put this on a Truth Social. And Ken, I have to say, this is the sort of thing you would see kind of in authoritarian countries. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, and I should say, faith in these numbers has been eroded over time, including by political attacks from Donald Trump during last year's election. It is clear that this had been in his head in some way before today, but I think today's numbers, which were so negative, which were showing a really surprisingly weak labor market, did appear to put him over the edge. And the president is pointing out that the Labor Statistics Commissioner was appointed by Joe Biden, and essentially using that as a pretext to try and make the case that she is not putting out accurate figures, saying that saying that we need accurate job numbers, and that he was immediately directing his team to fire this Biden political appointee. Now, she had been nominated to serve a 4-year term, and she was confirmed overwhelmingly by the Republican Senate. I think the vote was something like 88-6. So many, many Republicans voted to confirm her. She was a career economist with something of a long career in various economic positions inside the federal government, non-political positions, ones that are typically held by career appointees. The president says that she'll be replaced by someone much more competent and qualified. Important numbers like these must be fair and accurate. They can't be manipulated for political purposes. Now, there is absolutely no evidence that the jobs numbers that came out today had been manipulated for political purposes. What is true is that they did contain some pretty major revisions from earlier this summer, essentially revising those numbers downward. That, in a lot of ways, is standard for these jobs figures. They do multiple surveys. They haven't, in the past, several years, the numbers have been sort of soft in the beginning because they don't get a lot of responses to the initial survey, so they have to go back and survey again to get more accurate figures. The president seems to be suggesting that those were mistakes that were responsible for this commissioner, and so the president now calling for her firing. But of course, this raises the question of whether the person that the president puts in place after her, whether those numbers could be trusted. The president is suggesting that she cannot be trusted to put out accurate figures, but the act of firing her as retribution just certainly raises the question of whether any number could be trusted coming out of that body now that the president has kind of injected this politicization into what has ordinarily been a very stalwartly apolitical, nonpartisan organization.
Kevin Liptak for us there at the White House. Thank you very much.